Damn it.
He leaped to his feet, strode quickly to the lodge, climbed the veranda steps, and moved slowly, keeping the Henry aimed straight out from his shoulder through the open front door. The room's shadows were obscured with clouds of roiling gray smoke. The smoke peppered his eyes. He tried to blink the sting away. He moved inside what appeared to be a saloon area with a bar at the rear. A staircase angled up over the bar's right side. Hunter took 2 more strides into the main room, sliding the rifle this way and that, looking for the 5th and final warrior. A man leaped onto his back, trying to pull Buchanan's left arm behind him. A knife was in the Indian's right hand, heading for Hunter's throat. Bobby Lee sunk his teeth into the attacker. The hand holding the knife faltered. Stumbling forward, Hunter dropped the Henry and grabbed the hand holding the Bowie knife. As Bobby Lee savaged one of his assailant's legs, Hunter wrapped his right hand around the hand holding the knife, pulled it away from his throat, and fell forward onto a table littered with bottles and glasses. Buchanan flipped onto his right shoulder, slamming the Indian onto his back on the table. He pulled the hand holding the knife straight out in front of him and squeezed hard. The hand opened and the Bowie knife fell to the floor. The warrior was kicking at Bobby Lee, who savaged the renegade's left calf, trying to tear a chunk of it free. Gaining his feet, Hunter palmed his LeMat.
Let him go, Bobby.
No sooner had Bobby released the leg than the warrior sprang off the table and dashed toward Hunter. He flew backward and hit the floor on his back, blood spraying from the hole in his chest. Now seeing his assailant for the first time, Hunter's jaw dropped with a grim realization. The warrior was clad in buckskin like the others, had long black hair and a war-painted face, but the resemblance ended there. The small frame and rounded contours were unmistakable. It was a woman.
Oh, hell.
In spite of the growing flames around him, Hunter holstered the LeMat, stepped to her side, and knelt beside her. She focused on his face, her eyes glittering with hatred. Her lips pulled back from her bloody teeth. Hunter turned away and wiped the bloody spit off his face with his sleeve. When he looked back, her eyes were on the ceiling, glassy and unfocused. Flames were licking through the ceiling and slithering down the stairway at the rear of the drinking hall. Bobby Lee was looking around fearfully at the flames and smoke. Hunter stood and retrieved the Henry from where he had dropped it. He paused briefly, wanting to get the woman's body outside where her people could retrieve her, but the heat was getting unbearable.
Come on, Bobby Lee!
He ran out of the building, across the veranda, down the steps, and toward the body of Deputy U.S. Marshal Roy Birmingham. The poor old gent had been shot at least 6 times. His revolver was still in its holster. The other 3 men lying around Birmingham had their hands cuffed behind their backs. They sported even more bullet wounds than Birmingham did. Bobby Lee, he saw, was properly anointing the bodies of the dead men in typical Bobby Lee fashion. Hunter dragged Birmingham a good 100 feet away from the burning building. He left the Indians where they lay. The death of the young Sioux woman brought back his pain over the death of the young Union picket back during the war. They were so similar, both doing their jobs, fighting for a cause they believed in, both with the bulk of their lives ahead of them. Buchanan understood how the Indians felt. If his people were being poisoned like vermin, wouldn't he go on the warpath? When he had Birmingham safely away from the flames, he tramped back in the direction of the ravine in which he'd left Walt Winslow. Bobby Lee trotted dutifully along beside him, panting from the heat of the growing fire that was roaring like a fire-breathing dragon behind them.